Okay. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. We have a small crowd, but we are mighty. And I'm excited that we're going to have this recorded. There's just some incredibly good information that we want to share with you tonight. And a couple of different things that we can share, and even though they're not on the call, is just to talk about any new team members that we have. And I have three: Timothy Oliver, Mandy Ryder, and Kristen Shawhan. And so you will see them in our Dreammaker Facebook page from time to time, and hopefully maybe even at the holiday party they'll be able to come. But I want to have a big shout out and congratulations tonight for Sandy Trissler and Deb Corder, because they have been selected to be a part of the Brave Leaders course that begins in January. And that is a huge, huge, huge honor. And you don't get picked for that for no reason. And so I'm excited. Two people on our team that get to do that. And it's just an amazing experience. A couple of other things to talk about are the incentives that are out there. And I have posted those in our Facebook page, and also the team contest is posted there. But let me see if we can take a look at that for just a second. Oops. That. So this is how you earn points, and this is how you earn money. And this is a great contest, and I'd have to tell you, you guys are putting in some orders. It's exciting. I think Sandy's got 5 already this month, and there's a bunch of people with 4, and Deb's got a bunch. Terry Akbush has a bunch. And so make sure you're kind of keeping track of all this. And I posted the tracker, so you have that. It's in the Facebook page. And that tells you right here what the points are for each thing. And the more promotions you get, that's the way to, of course, get the quickest bang for your buck. So I just wanted to show that to everybody. And let's see, there was something else in here I wanted to show you. This right here. Well, that is not how I wanted to do that, but we'll just look at it here and try to make it bigger. Oh, here, 32%. So if I make it 50%, that will be better. Please move this window away from the shared application. Well, if we get rid of that, that'll. We're not doing very good on the screen share tonight, are we? 50% is what we need to see this. So if you, for whatever reason, I can't make this any bigger without completely losing all of the print, but the real question is, how many HLPs can anybody sponsor between now and the end of January? Because every time you do, you get more stuff. For all of us, it's if you sponsor 2, you get $100 and a $100 conference ticket for them. Nobody has ever gotten a free conference ticket for completing an HLP. And so I think the way we market that with people is to say, you can come to conference with us with 2 tickets, because if you do your HLP and then your Fast Track 2000, you'll be able to get 2 tickets and bring somebody with you, and we'll just get a big house out there and have a party. So I just think that's a huge, huge, huge opportunity. So let me get rid of those. And the other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is Teamsy. And I know Sandy's doing it and Deb's doing it. I got all of my, I've ranked everybody. Now I'm adding more people every time I think of somebody or talk to somebody. But you know what I like about it the best is when I have it open down in the left-hand corner, there's my why. You cannot run away from it. It is sitting there looking at you, reminding you why we are doing this. And I think that is great reinforcement. And I think it's a great reason for any of us, just if you don't do anything else, it makes you put your why together. So what I would like to propose is that we set up some calls with not only just the people that are on the call tonight, but everybody on the team. And let's do a call where we look at that. Why is it that we're doing this business? And hopefully, as we go through the couple little trainings we're going to do tonight, you'll get a better idea for yourself of why you're doing this business. So we did have a little contest to see who, jumped on board the quickest and got all their stuff downloaded for TeamZ. And Terry Ackbush won that contest, and it was $10, but it was still fun to do. And so I'm going to let Sandy take over, and she's going to share about the Sulcers and what we learned from them.
Okay, and the other thing I wanted to say was I just actually took the plunge and signed up for TeamZ for a year. So I just paid for TeamZ for a whole year. So that was making a decision and just jumping in. So, and let me get my crud. My notes from the Sulcer. Okay, so I don't know if everybody's like this. I am definitely like this, but it takes me a long time to get something from just having heard it and can repeat it and know it in my head to really, really get it through my head, get it to experiential knowledge. And I've heard so many times, I've heard Karen Ewald and so many others, Carolyn, Wendy say, events. Yeah, great. But somehow it hit harder when Kevin Sulcer said, the number one income earning activity is events. The number one income earning activity is events. And I went, oh yeah, that includes inviting to them and not just having them, but inviting to them and getting people to them. And I don't know, it kind of just opened up my head there. So that was cool. He said, if you're stuck, start over. Everyone can do a 2000 plus again, and it'll get you re-engaged in sharing urgently. So that was neat. He said, Wendy Campbell stuck her finger in his face and said, you need to get over yourself, young man. And it was one of the best pieces of advice anybody ever gave him. So if I can get over myself, get out of my own way, stop making it about me and make it about them, I will succeed. So part of that is getting over the I don't want to be a salesperson thing. Everybody is selling something. Everybody who works at anything is selling something. Some people sell their time and talents to a company and they trade hours for dollars. Some people sell paintings. My brother-in-law is a painter. He sells paintings that he makes, or whatever it is they make, carpenters sell furniture, whatever. Some people sell their talents like mechanics and electricians and plumbers and all that. But everybody's selling something. That's how the world goes round. There is nothing wrong with getting paid to educate people on what's going to help them get and stay healthy. This is a good thing. And the next part of that is that everybody we come in contact with deserves to know that Juice Plus is available to them. Everybody deserves to know that. So get out of your own way and tell them. You can't tell whether somebody needs that just by looking, because fit does not mean healthy. Kevin had 3 friends who were in their 40s die of heart attacks just in 1 year. And they didn't even know they had any disease. It was just a sudden thing. So we have a moral obligation to share this knowledge with other people. There are lives that depend on this. It's a mission. So we really do need to get over ourselves and get out there and realize that other people deserve to know what we know. But in doing that, we need to disconnect from the outcome. We're just the messenger, not the message. So if someone says no to that message, they just don't understand it yet. So in our minds, we need to turn that no into a not yet and just keep shining on them, keep smiling, keep shining on them. And maybe eventually they'll get it. but that's it eventually. Timing is everything. So if it's not their time yet, let it go. It has to be their time and God's timing, not ours. And sometimes we think, okay, they've got to know this now. They've got to know this now. But sometimes if they're not ready for that, if you would push too hard now, you would close the window that would have been opened down the road. Sometimes it takes years. So let it go. Say less to more people. Don't push, don't convince, just attract. Keep smiling on them, keep shining on them, lovingly, gently attract. And listen. Listen for problems to which you can offer a solution. Ask questions. Get involved. Build relationship. Listen. Get uncomfortable at least once every single day. If you're not getting out of your comfort zone, this is me, I'm preaching to me. If you're not getting out of your comfort zone, you're not growing. You're not going anywhere. The more you do something uncomfortable, the more you build confidence. So that whole I can do this thing, it comes from stepping out of that comfort zone, getting uncomfortable, and finding that you're okay with getting uncomfortable. That's where the confidence gets built. You need to know that you are enough. You are enough. So step out in that knowledge and comfortable and confidence and get out of that comfort zone and be brave. I'm ready to start that Brave Leaders thing. The next one was plan. Nothing happens without a plan. I am living proof. Nothing happens without a plan. So to be intentional every day. One thing that he said, you need education and inspiration. So go to the clinical research tab on your own website and read the results. Watch the videos. Watch some videos every single day so you know what to send to people. There are so many videos that I haven't even seen. So it's inspiring, and we need that. You know, they say inspiration doesn't last, and neither does a bath. That's why we want to do it every day, right? So we need that inspiration, and we need the education. It was about being methodical too, intentional and methodical. So Teamsy is a way of doing that, and you guys probably all know what that is and everything. One thing that both Kevin and Harriet said was focus on building community. People want community. They want to belong to something. They don't need just the products. They need our culture, and they need us. So we need to be attractive that way too, and realize that our culture is a huge part of the win with this business. So then Harriet got up and spoke, and it was so cool because she said, she talked about her story and the fact that she needed a job so badly, and she needed the insurance. So she asked Kurt Beavers, is it reasonable, is it possible to do this in a year? To reach the top level in a year and get that insurance? And he said, well, it's possible, I guess. I don't know how probable that is, but it is possible. And she's like, I'm going to do it. And she did. 1 year after she signed her application, she became an NMD. And she was scared to death. She looked at it, and she looked at that stair step thing that they have. And she said, so people, here's what you need to do. You map it out. Give a reasonable time for each level, but map it out. And the way she said, at one point, she was too scared to drive all the way to Jackson, Mississippi from where she lived near Atlanta. And her husband got out a map, and he said, so do you think you could drive to Birmingham? She's like, yeah, that's about 2 hours. I could drive to Birmingham. He said, okay, do you think you could drive to Tuscaloosa after that? It's about an hour from Birmingham. She said, yeah, I could do that. He said, what about if you stop for lunch and then you drive to Meridian? That's about another hour and a half. Do you think you could do that? She's like, yeah. And then you could drive to Jackson, right? That's about another hour and a half. So she went from Atlanta to Birmingham. She went from Birmingham to Tuscaloosa, called him at lunchtime. She was there. Then she drove to Meridian and stopped. And then she drove to Jackson. And when she pulled in the driveway at Jackson, she said, I was so excited and so proud of myself because I drove all the way there by myself. And this scared little lady now has a huge Juice Plus empire. Huge. So one step at a time. And that's how we do that. So that was just really amazing. One thing that Kevin said that I didn't write down, but Carolyn did, was to stop just putting somebody in the system right away. to do three-way calls, connection calls, to set people up for success first before we put them in the system so that we can get them going right away. So be a little bit more strategic instead of, putting them in the system, they have one order and then they sit for how long. So to do connection calls. And part of the reason why connection calls are so successful is that people perceive that one person might be lying to them, but two people aren't going to be lying to them. So that's where the third-party validation comes in, and that's why. Think about it. You're talking to one person, they're like, they might be just pulling the wool over my eyes. But if another person backs them up and says exactly the same thing, you tend to believe it. And we're not lying to them. This does have research behind it. It really does help. So that's really, really cool. And the fact that we get something out of helping people too. I don't know about you, but that helper's high, I really love it when I hear results that people have gotten with Juice Plus. So we get a giver's gain or a helper's high from helping people. Let's see what else. Tying your why to an emotion. I still need to work more on that. I have my why in the corner of Teamsy, and that's helpful, but I don't know that I've really gotten to the bottom of it yet. Thankfully, he said it was changeable. So I just wrote something down, and it didn't have to be perfect the first time I had it there. That's a big step for me. I don't know about you guys, but it's a big step for me. So anyway, last part.
Oh, go ahead.
The last part was the questions that we need to ask ourselves. Where am I right now? What's the next step? What does it take to reach the next step? What are the benefits? The cost versus benefits deal. Decide, is it worth it? And then what is a reasonable time frame? So to ask those, to ask ourselves. That's pretty much all I've got.
Okay, thanks. Thank you so much. I think one of the things that stood out to me was that Harriet Sulcer said when she started, for those of you that don't know and haven't met her or heard her story, she started out with water filters and air purifiers and stuff. That was not a mission. I mean, it was strictly a financial need. It was a good product. She could sell it. She was confident of it. But then Juice Plus came along later, and that was a mission. But she made it to NMD without Juice Plus and without a mission. And the way she did it was building teams of people. So those of us who are customer magnets, because we just love to help people get healthy, needed to step it up and get over ourselves to invite people to the team. So something that you said in this reminded me of a story that happened today for me. Was that I have 3 or 4 new customers in the last few weeks, and one of them actually called me today. Now, she was on my list to call, but I hadn't gotten to it yet. And she called and she said, I just want to thank you so much for telling me about Juice Plus. I've been taking it really only for about 2 weeks because I didn't get started right away. And I feel so much better. And she went on and on about that. And then she said, and I think this would be really good for my parents too. And I have another friend, and I think it would be good for her too. Now, I have prejudged, I would have never ever thought that because she has another business that is her livelihood. She and her husband do it together. And I would have assumed in my mind that she was too busy. I never put myself on speaker. And so I just said to myself, you just never know what somebody might need or, want to do, and go back to all of our own stories. How did we get started? We wanted the best possible price, right? And so we just have to offer that to everybody. And when we do, they're going to help at least 2 other people, right, if they do an HLP. So I think that's a great way to look at it. I want to share something that goes along with this is the leadership call that we did the other day, which I took pictures of, but I have to get it to go back. Let me go do this a different way. I want is my desktop. Here we go. There we go. So I just thought, and Deb's going to share her takeaways on this, but I'm going to run through the slides for you. I took pictures of the screen, or actually screenshotted them because we were in the car, and I was afraid I wouldn't be able to write all the notes. So when Tom Tooney started this, and he is very much an expert in the field of even corporate training for people to help them reach their goals. And so the fact that we got this training for free is like amazing. And so a couple of things he said. We want to go from forced, like being forced to do something, to being fearlessly passionate about why we're doing it. And he said you need clarity, alignment, and balance. And I have all these notes. I'll send them to you if you want them. But we have to tap into our passion. And I think sometimes we forget to tap into our passion. And then the way we repeat that is with systems and processes. Well, we have that given to us, which I think. And then he asked us to look, and there were some exercises that he had us do, and I didn't take pictures of that, but if you go back to the sales coordinator and above leadership chat, Wendy had posted them in there. And he said our habits are based on our values. So there are avoidance values, which, let's go to the next slide. We go to slideshow. Sim slideshow. Nope. Well, darn. Oh, good. Maybe it'll go backwards. Come on. From the beginning. Here we go. Okay. So there's two ways to proceed in life. One is like there's a lion in the room and you have to get away from it, right? And the only way to get away from it is to go through the door. The other way, and so that's like somebody tells you how to do stuff, go clean your room, that kind of thing. And there's involved with that is expectations, directions, policies. It's stuff you have to do. And so you break through barriers to avoid things. The other way is attainment. And so on the other side of the door, you see the pot of gold, or you see your goal, what it is you want to accomplish. And you do it because you're motivated from within and you're moving towards something instead of moving away from it. So there are external forces that sort of force you to do things, or you can operate from your internal forces, which makes you more fierce. So you can look at all these different things. Here's, if you're looking at attainment, that's obligations. Forced avoidance, those are things that are needs, and I have to do that, I have to do that. But over here, this is the best place to be because you attain what it is you're trying to accomplish through these internal forces and versus the fears of, and so we're talking about getting over yourself and not being afraid. That's a piece of that. So you have to tap into your internal values. And so, you know, an example could be somebody has a health crisis and they're forced into a new lifestyle. What if you could have just chosen a new lifestyle without being forced into that? And he talked about motivation. We think we should be able to motivate people. We can't motivate anybody. Motivation comes from within. We can inspire people, and hopefully that clicks something within them that then they become motivated. But it's interesting because here's your internalization taking you to being fierce. And so ask questions. This is getting back to our why. What is it about this opportunity that gets you fired up? What is it about your role that you absolutely love? Today, when this woman called me, I said to her, oh my gosh, I've been on the phone all day. This is the best phone call I've had all week. Of course, it was only Monday, right? But I said, this is why I do what I do. And it just makes me so excited. And why is that? Because you go back to your own internal values and who we are. And what Sandy was talking about is the helper's high. And so what you want to attain, or what you can attain, is you use your personal vision to attain what it is you want. So what end results are you looking for? Do we write that down? Do we focus on that? Or are we just kind of going through what we do every day with no real end in sight, nothing, that I posted that one sheet on our Dreammaker page that's kind of a worksheet, and I think that really helps. At least it helps me. And then you know what you're looking for, but how will you know if you've succeeded? So part of that is to write it down, to have clear, measurable outcomes, and just keep asking. You know how you do the 7 layers of why? Why is that important? Why is that important? Till you drill down to the bottom of it. And interestingly enough, on Teamsy, that's exactly what they had us do when we tried to develop our why. I like this because my son used to work for Deloitte. And I think this is what makes what we do so vastly different from maybe what we did in the past, or for what other people are doing, and maybe they're not that excited about it. The 87% of employees are not passionate about their work, contributing to lessened performance and engagement. And I can tell you, when I taught school, it was a long day, and the things that got me cooking was, when is my planning period, so I could go to the teacher's lounge and visit with other teachers. Too bad I didn't have anything important to talk about like this, right? But and lunch and recess, and when's the clock to go home? And I liked what I did to a point, but not like what I'm doing now by any means. And so I think this is what makes us tick. We love seeing people reach their health goals. I mean, the call that you make that the person says, well, I really haven't been taking it every day, and you can delay it a month because I went back to 1 capsule. Whatever the story is, those are not the calls that get us fired up, right? So then you have to go back to, well, what is it that you love? What does that do for you personally? And describe how that makes you feel. And, get out a notebook and write that stuff down. I'll send you the notes. You can fill in the blanks. Oops. So,
Can you also send the slides? These slides that go along with these notes would be great.
Yeah, I think I could do that. Yeah, I can do that. So that's when you hit attainment, is when you feel like you're really, Kevin Sulcer said, we're on a mission, we need to complete the mission. That's when you love seeing people reach their health goals, in my opinion. So John Maxwell said, a great leader's courage to fulfill his vision comes from passion, not position. So, you could be a national marketing director with no passion. I can't imagine that, but it's possible, I suppose. So it's not the position that's important, it's the passion. And all of us have that for ourselves to one degree or another. And so I just thought that was a really neat training. And Deb was on it. And so Deb, can you share a little bit about what stood out to you?
Sure, and Carolyn, you hit most of the highlights. I'm looking down through my notes. That part where it's the fierce attainment and the passion, all the other areas, I remember him saying they were not sustainable in this whole performance. But when you're in that fierce attainment and you're passionate about what you're doing, that is definitely something that will be sustainable. We're in a position of moving forward, we're facing forward, and we're moving forward. It's an area where you can't be talked into anything and you can't be talked out of it because you're so engaged, passionate with your heart and soul. So that's the place where we have to operate from. And he also said when we're talking about our own passions, one of our jobs is to look at those areas in other people. Where are they operating from? Is it their heart, their health, their faith, their, the money, their family, and tap into their passions and connect them to ours, and then it's a win-win. So I think that made a whole lot of sense too. Let's see. Carolyn said for a minute about leaders and us as leaders with our customers and our just other reps under us is to inspire, to train, and support. And support not as just in the business, but it's emotional and relational, as well as the professional structure for the growth that we eventually attain. And Sandy mentioned with the Team C, and it connects a lot. Just in the passionate part of it, also getting your plan together. If you don't know where you're going, you certainly, whatever road you take isn't going to get you there. Focusing on that why and tying it back to that emotion, looking at it each day. And I'm a bad one I just jump into okay, I got to connect with this person. I got to move here. I got to move there. I got to move there. But reading and reconnecting with your emotion tied to that why, and then having your mindset right, and then responding, it's going to be a whole different conversation with those people that you're connecting with. Getting out of your comfort zone once each day, it's over and over. It's not just about us, it's about other people. Getting bolder and braver, and because of them, not because of ourselves. And I know Jeff and I have found ourselves, both of us, listening better and hearing situations where we can bring out our passions. If we hear someone talking, what just happened yesterday, someone's going on and on and on about that, and they actually had a tumor removed and they're waiting for the results. And it's like, we have to say something. We cannot walk out of this store and not say anything. We don't know this person, but I personally been there. I know what this feels like, waiting for the test to come back. We know. So we did. And the person next to her, what is that? Fruits and vegetables. She had to know about it. So we didn't care about the results. It was that relationship and the caring about those people. And that's something that it's just born out of our passions. So not getting hung up on anything, just them and caring about them. Other than that, Carolyn, I think that according to my notes, you hit everything else. There was one thing he said, Tom Tony said in the beginning, was culture eats mission and vision for lunch. It's built from the bottom up, and you've really got to care about the people and get in that team and relational development, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I think I'm missing one of the slides. So I'll, when I put that PowerPoint together, it didn't go like it usually does. So but I'll send it to you. It's where the axes come together and meet, and if we can help individuals that we're working with connect to their passion, their purpose, their own personal goals, then we get these two axes coming together so that it happens for the whole team. And then remember the ships when we went to Tampa. So the rising tide raises all ships. So part of what we have is not just our own personal stuff. What I'm excited about is because I think we're at a place where we're starting to gel and grow as a team, and we're having more synergy amongst ourselves. We're not like just little islands. And particularly as new people come in, they don't know that yet, or this is different than what anybody else has. Nobody else has this. And it's really interesting to see some of the new people, my new people that are coming in, that have made that observation. Just they've made it on their own, So, I think that's kind of cool. So just to let you know about some things that are going to happen. Next week on Monday night, there's going to be this tremendous call, and we've already started inviting. Deb and I did a connection call, just like what Kevin was talking about, with some prospective new, I hope they say yes. They are just wonderful, wonderful young women. And we started with a relationship. They're, Deb's people, but we went to dinner with them in Tampa. And that's what we did. And so that was exciting. And I don't know how they saw it in us, but somehow we communicated our culture. So we got on the phone with them the other night. Why is it that you're interested in this? Well, we want to meet new people. We want to have something that we're passionate about. We need a culture outside of ourselves that we can hang out in. And, oh, by the way, we wouldn't mind making some extra money. I was like, well, did you go to our conference? It was awesome. And so those are the things that fire you up. So the more people we talk to, they inspire me and motivate me to become a better version of me. And so one other thing that Kevin said is the biggest, fastest growing group in the Juice Plus company right now is young moms. And that's really who we want to be attracting. So Elizabeth on Sandy's team is a young mom, and she's going to represent our team on this Gen Y call next Monday night. And it's just so neat because this was born from Margie DeHayes' team, and she's got 3 Gen Yers. Right now we have Elizabeth that wanted to be a part of it, and then Karen Wygan has somebody. So here are 3 different teams working together for the good of all. Other companies don't do that, you guys. And they even, Elizabeth had a conflict. They even changed the time back 30 minutes so she could be a part of it. That's just awesome. So how we're going to do that call is it'll be on Zoom, but it will be embedded in Facebook. So I'm going to end the recording and we can talk about what that looks like, because it's a pretty cool concept. Does anybody else have anything they forgot to share or want to share? So we have also, in terms of events, we have the holiday party coming up too, and we can talk more about that in a minute. So if you were on the call, thank you so much. If you weren't on the call, thank you so much for watching, and excited to get back with everybody and do your why.